Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update. Join the only official Telegram channel of Rao's IAS Study Circle to get relevant material and important updates.
Hello everyone and welcome to Daily News Simplified, your one-stop solution to detailed analysis of current affairs which are published in the daily edition of the Hindu newspaper and are equally relevant for your UPSC preparation. Articles which have been put up for today's discussion are listed on your screen. And the timestamping for these articles and the notes in PDF and Word format are given in the description box. So let us begin with the first article for the day. This article of the Hindu newspaper appeared on page 7 and also forms the part of data point. Now, in this article, the newspaper has talked about the issue of center-state fiscal disbalances which arises out of the poor structuring of India's fiscal federalism. The context says that despite many recommendations by the past finance commissions in India, union-state fiscal devolution has not been balanced. And to prove this, there were certain charts or the diagrams which were shown in the article along with the basic analysis. Now, as far as fiscal federalism is concerned, it has already been covered multiple times in the DNS, for which we will also provide you the link in the description box. However, today we are going to list down some of the broad issues which were highlighted in the article, as well as we will look into the aspect of Finance Commission, the basic recommendation of the Finance Commission, that is the 15th Finance Commission, and also look into some of the issues faced by the union and the states with respect to the financial devolution under fiscal federalism. The aspect of this article is important under General Studies Paper 2, where the question could be asked with respect to the Finance Commission, which is a constitutional body. The question can also be asked with respect to the government policies, intervention for the development in various sectors and their issues arising. In GS paper 3, the same could be asked with respect to the Indian economy and the issues it is facing with respect to the mobilization of the resources, and can also be asked under the heading of government budgeting. Previously, that is in 2018, in the mains examination of General Studies paper 2, Finance Commission was asked and its constitution along with its terms of reference was asked by the UPSC. The same could be replicated in the future as well. So be prepared with Finance Commission and its various functions. After the discussion of this article, you will be in a position to answer these two MCQs based on the discussion that we are going to conduct. Before starting or dwelling into the article discussion, let us understand some basics first. How India's fiscal federalism is determined. Well, fiscal power consists of revenue generation and spendings. Now, as far as devolution is concerned, both center and the state require money, and this money comes from the taxation system in India. Different taxes are collected both at the center and the state level, and then they are devolved in order to meet the spending demands. The Indian tax system can be divided into two. The first is the direct tax, the second one is the indirect taxes. Direct taxes includes the personal income tax of a person, which does not include the agricultural income. So be aware of that there is no income tax on agriculture income. We also have other examples such as corporate tax, other taxes including the security transaction tax. They are direct in nature. Direct in nature means the person on whom these taxes are imposed is going to be the person who is the final bearer of the tax burden. So, if it is personal tax, a person who is paying the personal tax is also the person who is bearing the final burden. The same is true with the companies under the corporation tax. In indirect taxes, the final burden of the tax is shifted from one person to the other. For instance, under GST or the goods and service tax, a manufacturer may pay the tax on behalf of the consumer. The burden lies on the consumer, but the payment of the tax is made by the manufacturer, and this tax becomes a part of maximum retail price or the MRP of a product. The indirect taxes have been subsumed since 2017 GST rolling out. Apart from these taxes, there are other areas which have been added and they are outside the purview of GST. They include certain excise duties such as on fuel, petroleum, diesel and others, alcohol and many other excluded goods. Beyond this structure, there are certain miscellaneous taxes which are temporary in nature and may be removed anytime. This includes the professional taxes, municipal taxes, stamp duties collected by the states, the toll taxes that you pay on the highways. There might be certain cess, including Krishi Kalyan cess, education cess, entry tax, well tax, registration tax, specifically in terms of property and vehicle, and other surcharges. Now, beyond this, whatever revenue is generated comes from fees, penalties, and other sources, which may also include the borrowing. But as far as Finance Commission and its recommendation is concerned, so Finance Commission does not recommend on the kind of borrowings that government should go for. You will never find the Finance Commission recommending the government to borrow X amount of money from external sector, X amount of money from bonds and others. So borrowing more or less remains less a matter of concern to the Finance Commission. However, tax collection and the devolution of the tax money is a prime objective of the Finance Commission recommendations. Now, what is a cess? Cess is a fee or like a fee which is imposed on a particular purpose only. See, the word is only. So in the previous case we have seen, here we have talked about the Krishi Kalyan cess. So of course the money which is collected under this tax would be implemented or would be spent on the agricultural development. The same is true with the education also. And for the collection of this cess, a separate legislative provision is required in the budget. Do remember that. As far as surcharges are concerned, so they are the additional tax, or you can say tax on tax. It is nothing but an additional tax on the existing tax structure of a person collected only by the union. Both cess and surcharge are under the control of the union government, and that is also one of the controversy as far as taxation in India is concerned. Surcharge is collected by those people who are high taxpayer. More or less, both cess and the surcharge are paid by the taxpayers. It is not paid by the poor section of the society. When we come to the constitutional provisions on the taxation, because this is very important, most of the time it is found that students are unable to capture the basic understanding of constitutional provisions with respect to the tax collection in India. So today we are going to discuss about some of those articles mentioned in the constitution which talks about the taxation, devolution and the duties and powers associated. The Article 265 of the Indian Constitution clearly proves that there is no tax in the country that can be imposed without law. It simply proves that taxation in India should only be considered, should only be practiced by the legislative process. So Parliament and the state legislations have the authority to impose any tax. Executive, judiciary does not have any power, including the bureaucracy does not have any power to implement any taxes, although they can try to bring certain fee, fines or penalties. Article 268, 269 and 270 talks about that how the taxes should be collected and how they should be distributed between center and the state. Article 286 talks about the restrictions of the power on states to levy certain taxes. Now when does a state does not collect a particular tax? There are two conditions. The first one is when it is outside the respective state. So the government of Maharashtra cannot take taxes with the goods and services which are produced in Uttar Pradesh. If the good is transferred from one place to the other or from one state to the other, it is the duty of the center to integrate that taxation system under IGST. The second one is when the sale and the purchase of the good takes place during the import and the export. That is when India is dealing with the goods and services with rest of the world. So in both the cases, States cannot levy taxation, and it is given under Article 286. The rest is Article 276 and 277. They say that tax is imposed by the state for the purpose for the state. So it includes those taxation which are being implemented, which are being imposed by the states in their own territory. The list may change with respect to time, and after the implementation of the GST, there was a drastic change. As far as grant in aids are concerned, first of all, they are unilateral. So please do understand that grant in aids only goes from center to state and not in the reverse case. There is no state which will provide the grant in aid to the central government. And these grant in aids are controlled by Article 273, 275, 274 and 282. Now, if we take the basic example, so under Article 269, you can include the stamp duty. Taxes which are mentioned under Article 270 can be easily classified through the 7th schedule, in which union list, state list and concurrent list are given, but concurrent list is not relevant with respect to the devolution and distribution of taxation. As far as cess are concerned, so they are mentioned under Article 270 of the Constitution, and as far as surcharges are concerned, they are mentioned or could be found under Article 271 of the Indian Constitution. Now, with this basic understanding of the distribution of taxation, let's talk about the article and its evolution. As per the article, if we say that how much the state government and the central government owes in the revenue connection. So as you can see, this part is for the central government and this is for the state government. So as far as resources are there, so 62% of the tax revenue go to the central government and 37% of the tax revenue goes to the state government. But as far as expenditures are concerned, so the case is reverse. With 37% of the revenue generation, they are spending 62% of the total spending in India. On the other hand, center, which has 62% of the control, is spending 37% only, which clearly proves that center has more money but spending less, while states have less money and spending more. That is the reason they are focusing more on grant in aids by the central government. The second chart proves that how Finance Commission has been recommending for the devolution of money to the state and how the actual practice has been there. Till 2015, that is financial year 2015, the gap between what was recommended, as you can see through the pink line, and what has been devolved were more or less the same. The point is, irrespective of what Finance Commission or financial year it was, the recommendation has always been above the final devolution. So if the Finance Commission has recommended for 30% of the devolution, the actual percentage was 26 to 27%. But 15th Finance Commission has recommended 41% of the total devolution. So if central government has 100 rupees, 41 rupees should be transferred to the state government. Following the same recommendation, as you can see, till 2020, there was a quantum jump in the devolution given to the state government. It has crossed even to the 35% level, but yet it is below the recommendation. But the things have drastically changed now. From 35% in 2020, it has fallen down to 29%, and this is because of the fact of the COVID crisis. Now, state governments could not find easy reason to have money. Center can borrow from outside, states government cannot borrow from outside. So center have more money, but they are devolving less money. And this has created a huge gap between what was recommended by the Finance Commission and what has been devolved to the particular states. The chart on the left side of your screen shows the percentage of cess and surcharges in gross revenue. And over the past 15 years, it has been observed that the percentage of surcharges and the cess has increased from 11% to almost 20% in the last fiscal year. Now, what does it prove? It proves that central government is now utilizing the route of cess and surcharge to increase their revenue share, because cess and surcharge money is not devolved, is not shared, is not distributed with the state. So whatever money has increased with respect to cess and the surcharge is now going only in the pocket of central government. On the right side, we see the gross tax revenue collection. Now from this graph, what do we understand? In the last 12 years, there has been a consistent rise in central government's share as far as tax revenue is collected. And there was a quantum jump after 2016-17, that is the rolling out of GST. As you can see, this would be the threshold of 2016-17. After 2019, there was a fall in the share of state government as far as tax revenue is concerned. So, what do we learn so far? We have learned so far is that central government more or less has remained in the advantage when it comes to the revenue collection. They are also in the advantage when it comes to the distribution because they are distributing less money to the state government than what they are supposed to do. Apart from that, they are utilizing the avenues available with respect to cess and the surcharges to overcome the lack of revenue they have and the responsibility to share the revenue powers with the state government. Now, with this basic discussion about the issues, let's talk about the details on Finance Commission of India. So this would more be like a prelims revision for you. Finance Commission is constituted periodically, that is every 5 years, by the President of India as per the Article 280. So it's a constitutional body mentioned in the Constitution. The objective remains simple: to define the financial relationship between the center and the state. So the only concept of Finance Commission is how the financial powers should be distributed between the center and the state. The first commission was established in 1951 and the current one is the 15th Finance Commission. The first Finance Commission was constituted under the Finance Commission Act of 1951. Every Finance Commission, whenever it is constituted, is given the terms of reference. Terms of reference simply means that what government is expecting from every Finance Commission and on what lines they should recommend the suggestions to the government. Every Finance Commission has a chairman. The current chairman is N.K. Singh, who was also the member of Planning Commission erstwhile. The chairman is assisted by 4 other members and all of them have more or less the knowledge of economics and finance. The salient features of the Finance Commission are that the Finance Commission deals under Article 280 and the recommendations are part of Article 281 of the Constitution. It is a quasi-judicial body. Do not get confused with the term. It is a quasi-judicial body. That does not mean that it will sit like a court. It will have the powers of civil court. That is, they can call for the evidences. They can have the recommendation for the distribution of financial resources between union and the state. So how taxes should be collected, how taxes money should be collected, how it should be distributed between the center, how much center should keep, how much they should devolve it to the states, so on and so forth. But whatever recommendation they are making, they are only of the advisory nature and not binding. Nowhere in the Constitution it is written that the advisory given by the Finance Commission is mandatory or is of binding nature on the union government. It also provides for balancing wheel of the fiscal federalism and members are eligible for the reappointment. Do remember that the Finance Commission of India is different that of the State Finance Commission, which was added through the 73rd and 74th Constitution Amendment to provide the recommendation to the state governments with respect to the financial devolution between the state government and the local bodies, including panchayat and the municipalities. Now, as far as finance commissions are concerned, so in the last 2 finance commission, that is Finance Commission 14 and Finance Commission 15, following were the basic criteria for the devolution of the tax money. So if we are saying that 41 rupee should be devolved out of every 100 rupee to the state government, the following criteria will be used to provide money to the state government out of this 41 rupee. Every state in India will not get the same money. Please remember that. The devolution will be different for different states based on the following criteria. The first one is the income distance. It simply means that what is the current status of the state government with the best performing state. So let's say if we are comparing Bihar with Goa, that how much Bihar is behind Goa with respect to the income generation. So this is actually the basis of how poor a particular state is. Hence it is given the highest weightage. Then comes the 15% weightage, which was earlier 10% given to the population. Now it is easy to understand because highest population comes from UP, Maharashtra and Bihar. So these three states will get the highest share under the population criteria. Then comes the area. So in this, Rajasthan, then Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra and other large states will get more money because they want to spend more money and they have the very large spatial distribution. Forest cover has been removed, but it has been transferred to the forest and ecology together. So states which are functioning better in terms of forest and others will get more money. This time they have included the demographic performance by removing the population of 1971. So the southern states like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, which are performing better in terms of controlling the population, will get more funds now. And the last one is the tax efforts. Those states which have taken very efficient and they have performed and they have outperformed the other states with respect to the tax effort, reforms, collection of the tax will get more money than those who have not. So all these criteria are utilized to distribute this 41 rupee among the states, and that is the reason why each state get different money in their pocket. Despite such a best formula, there are certain issues faced during the fiscal devolution between center and the state. The first one is the skewed distribution. More powers are given to the center government, as we have seen in the case of cess and the surcharge. So there is no power given on the state government to collect the cess or the surcharges. The recommendation of the Finance Commission are non-binding. So whether they say 41%, government is not going to follow exact 41%. Finance Commission is not constituted annually, and that is the reason why when 15th Finance Commission was constituted, COVID was not there. And when COVID-19 came to picture, Finance Commission recommendations were not followed. There is no credibility given by the government if they do not follow the recommendation. They have not stated why they are not meeting the 41% criteria as of now. Many a times Finance Commission has been seen as a politicized institution, and more funds have been devolved to those areas where the elections are scheduled. The ability of the state government to finance their current expenditure has declined from 69% in 1956 to 38%. It simply proves that the rest of the money, they are depending on the center government on the borrowings and the granting aids. So less money they have in their pocket, the more they are relied on the central government. And this is the poor state of fiscal federalism. States have also lost many taxation powers, many provisions under the GST. And that is the reason why they are calling for more compensation as well as the expansion of GST Compensation Act beyond 2022. There have been a cuts in the corporate tax. Central government has reduced the corporation tax from 30% to the 25%. Less corporate tax simply proves that they have less money to share with the state government. There is non-divisive pool in the central government has shoot up to 15% from the erstwhile 9%. It simply means that earlier there was 9% of the money that center was not bounded to share with the state government. Now it is 15% that center is not bounded to share with the state government. So the more it is increasing, the less number of funds will be available to the state government. And the last one is the expansion of the centrally sponsored scheme based on the one size fits all. So if a central government implements a particular centrally sponsored scheme, they are forcing the state government sometimes even to spend up to 40% of the scheme spendings on these schemes which are being created by the central government. More such schemes simply prove that state government will have less money to spend on their specific welfare schemes or the programs that they are running to please their own state citizens. So given this important fiscal devolution, the one solution that should be there in the minds of the students is that the Finance Commission require the flexibility in its functioning. There should be accountability mechanism that should be set up by the central government. Whenever they reject a particular recommendation of the Finance Commission, they should come in public to explain why. With this discussion, please let us now move to the next article for the day. This article of the Hindu newspaper appeared on page 7th and talks about some of the suggestions with respect to the Anganwadi scheme under Integrated Child Development Program. The context says that Anganwadi scheme under the ICDS or the revamped ICDS has been quite limited in its approach to support the children under 6. As far as syllabus mapping is concerned, so it is important for your general studies paper 2 with respect to the welfare schemes, because ICDS is a welfare scheme towards the vulnerable section which includes the children also. It is also important for the government programs and policies and the intervention needed over there. Now, before dwelling into the suggestions and the issues highlighted by the writers in the article, let's talk about the Integrated Child Development Scheme, also known by the name Anganwadi scheme. It started as ICDS in 1975. The basic purpose was to provide the supplementary nutrition. Now, supplementary nutrition here simply means at least a meal once a day. So, it is not that the children will be provided meals both times of the day, that is in day, afternoon and in the evening or at night. They will only be provided the supplementary nutrition. The basic nutrition should be provided at the family level only. Apart from the nutrition, they will also be provided the immunization and the preschool education, basic elementary education with respect to reading, speaking and writing. Because you must be well aware that government schools start at the age of 6. Even right to education also covers the children between the age of 6 to 14. Now, what will happen to children who are younger than 6? For them, it is the Anganwadi, where the basic elementary or preschool education will be provided. It is world's largest such program to cover the overall development of a child. As far as type is concerned, so it is a centrally sponsored scheme and the distribution remains, as you can see below, at 60 to 40% for normal states and 90 to 10% for northeastern states. The coverage will include all the districts in India. It will have the coverage of 0 to 6 years of children, that is just born children till the age of 6 years, pregnant mothers and lactating mothers. The objective of the program is to improve the nutritional and the health of the children, psychological, physical and social development, and the article actually targets the psychological development of these children. It will reduce the incidence of mortality, especially child mortality, morbidity, malnutrition, overnutrition and undernutrition, and school dropout. It will enhance the capabilities of mother, because as we have seen, pregnant mothers and the lactating mothers are also part of the scheme. So it is for enhancing the capabilities of these mothers, because once a mother is trained, they will provide the other sort of home-led education, other sort of primary nutrition, because the scheme is only covering the supplementary nutrition. So the primary nutrition will be provided to the mother, but their capacity need to be enhanced, and for that matter, Anganwadi scheme is there to work. Most of the buildings constructed under the Anganwadi is part of the MG Narega scheme. However, only subjected to the rural areas. One Anganwadi center is provisioned for a population of 400 to 800 people and 40 children. If there are less than 40 children, they will be subjected to the other Anganwadi only. This criteria changes and reduced down in terms of the tribal and the hilly areas. Now, apart from the basic understanding, these are the important 6 services which are provided under the Anganwadi scheme. And please, I put a star over here. It's a very, very important task. Twice such programs and the functioning of government such schemes have been asked in the prelim examination. So, the services which are provided under Anganwadi are supplementary nutrition for children below the age of 6, pregnant and lactating mothers. In this, Anganwadi workers and the Anganwadi helpers under the Ministry of Women and Child Development are the main coordinator. Then comes the immunization, but this is under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Then there are frequent health checkups, referral services, preschool education, and nutrition and health education given to the mother. So, nutrition and health education given to the women are part of Anganwadi scheme, But as you can see, as per the government provision, it is for 15 to 45 years. Yes, government also recognizes the mother at the age of 16, 17 or even 18. Although under the child marriages, a girl is supposed to be married at the age of 18 plus. So with these all services and different ministries working together, Anganwadi workers are assisted by ANM, auxiliary nurse midwives, and all of these manpower is functioning to provide the best services possible to improve the lifestyle of a child and a mother. Now, as per the article, these are the following issues which are faced by the Anganwadi centers. The first one is the aspiration of parents, and these aspirations are not met according to the survey. This aspiration includes that children should be provided modern education, there should be more focus on the rote learning and technical skills. Now, this was an amazing outcome out of a survey which was conducted by the writers themselves. Most of the parents think that Anganwadi is not focusing on rote learning, and according to them, the current status of the society says that mugging up and rote learning will only provide jobs to their child. And cognitive development, intelligence development is not the criteria of these parents. So, demand of the parent is not met, and that is the reason why there is an issue. But this should not be promoted at all. Then comes the issue of languages. So, parents as well as technicians and the educators are supporting that a basic English language should be given as an instruction to these children. Math proficiency should also increase, but utilizing the audio visuals. There is a stiff competition which these Anganwadis are facing, especially in the urban areas, with the private preschools. And in private preschools, it is not the cognitive development, it is mostly the social development where they are focusing. Educators in the Anganwadis are less skilled, they are not well equipped with the modern technology, and there is a lack of child specific plan. So there is one size fits all approach which is being followed. So if they are teaching the English, let's say, to a particular student, they will do the same for the all other students as well. They are not looking into the ability, the cognitive development of a particular child, and they are utilizing the same syllabus, same curriculum, same education plan for every child. So now the answer is, what is way out? The article also talks about some of the way forward. The first one is changing the schedule, and they should be prepared with respect to the children's or child's level of development. Let's say there is a child who is very smart and very intelligent to capture the language or a specific word. There might be other child who is good in math skill. There might be a child who is good and interested in playing games. So that should be developed according to their demand. Curriculum should focus on the cognitive skills rather than just the social skills. There should be a regular Siksha Chaupal, which means conducting parent-teacher meet, and this will actually increase the accountability mechanism. Government can also start inculcating the basic English and the maths classes with these students, especially who are above the age of 3. And there should be extensive use of audio visuals to make the learning process more interactive and happiness based. With this discussion please, now I will leave you with this practice MCQ. Read the question carefully and try to answer in the comment box. Let us now move to the next article for the day. This article of the Hindu newspaper appeared on page 12 and talks about the tomato flu, which has been in news for a while. And this tomato flu or tomato fever is now being seen as an endemic in the state of Kerala. Now, from the perspective of prelim examination, it is important for you to understand what this has to say. So we have taken the information directly from the Lancet website on which this was actually mentioned. The disease is non-life threatening disease. So there is no death concern attached to this disease. It is a new variant of a viral hand, foot and mouth disease already there in the human and animal kingdom. The basic causes are the after effects of chikungunya or dengue fever rather than any viral infection. So it is not the outcome of a viral infection to the concerned person. It is actually mostly seen as a after effect of chicken and dengue, which has been the cause of concern during the monsoon season. The target group or the people who are affected by the disease is these children at the age of 1 to 5 years and those adults which are immunocompromised, that is those whose immunosystem is quite weak. The disease is at the endemic state, that is, as of now, it has originated only in the state of Kerala and it is only spread among the people of Kerala. The symptoms of the disease are more or like the COVID-19, that is fever, fatigue and others. However, there are rashes on the skin also. There is no medication available, no drug is available for the treatment of this disease and it is self-limiting, that is, it will start and it will come down on its own. The nomenclature, how this has been named, why this flu has been named as tomato flu. The reason being that there are the eruption of red and painful blisters on the skin of a person affected by this flu and this is found throughout the body. They looks like the red tomato over the skin of the infected person. Beyond this, you are not required to go deeper for the preparation of this examination. It is likely that if it is asked in the examination, it will be asked with respect to the prelim examination only. And that is the reason why I am leaving you with this practice question attached to the discussion that we have conducted. So read this question carefully and try to answer in the comment box. Let us now move to the next article for the day. This article of the Hindu newspaper appeared on page 10 and talks about the recent order of status quo by Supreme Court with respect to the local elections or the local polls in the state of Maharashtra. Now, Maharashtra previously has provided 27% reservation to the other backward classes in the local bodies election, that is panchayat and municipalities. However, Supreme Court has given a stay on that particular order or the ordinance. Supreme Court has said that they cannot hold or conduct the local polls to provide the reservation of 27% to the OBCs. And in this regard, Supreme Court has ordered the state government of Maharashtra to go on status quo, that is stay put, till the Supreme Court create a separate special bench to look into the final matter. Now, as far as this matter is concerned, so it is important for your General Studies paper 2 under the various constitutional headings. Now, panchayats as well as the local bodies are also one of UPSC's favorite with respect to the preliminary examination. So, you can put a star in your study material with respect to the local self-government. Previously, in the case of Madhya Pradesh, Supreme Court actually allowed the extension of reservation of 27% to the OBCs or the other backward classes in the local body election. Then why come the same Supreme Court has not allowed Maharashtra to do that? What made the Supreme Court changed its verdict with respect to the Madhya Pradesh but not Maharashtra? In case of Madhya Pradesh, first of all, a recommendation with respect to the backwardness of the other backward classes was already available under the State Backward Commission. So, State Backward Commission was constituted by the state government and this commission has looked into the matter of backwardness of the community and they have suggested certain recommendation to provide the reservation. State of Madhya Pradesh has also completed the task of delimitation for the conduction of election because every constituency need to be delimited before the conduction of the elections. They have also not breached the 50% limit of reservation. In the case of Maharashtra, it was already going over the 50%. And the last one being that Madhya Pradesh has followed the triple test formula in order to provide the reservation to the other backward classes, which was not in the case of Maharashtra. And because of these four reasons, Maharashtra was denied to go ahead with the ordinance to provide the reservation. Now the question is, what is triple test formula? Now according to the Supreme Court, in order to provide the reservation to the OBCs, these three steps should be followed. The first one is the dedicated commission or the State Backwardness Commission should be constituted and this commission should conduct the empirical inquiry. Empirical inquiry here simply means that it should be supported with logical data, backwardness data, into how much they are backward. The second point being that they should specify the proportion of reservation. How much reservation should be provided? And the last one is this proportion should not exceed the 50% of the reservation limit, including the STs, SCs, OBCs, or even other sections together. So these three things should be followed before providing the reservation. And according to the Supreme Court, this was not followed by the Maharashtra, hence the matter is under judicial scrutiny. Now, with respect to the basic provisions of reservation in the local self-government, under Article 243d(6), now these are provided through the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. Under Article 243d(c), state legislation, please do remember it is not the parliament, it is the state legislation which can provide any provision for the reservation of seats in panchayat or the office of chairpersons in panchayat to the backward class, which simply proves that yes, Constitution provides for reservation to the backward classes in the panchayats. That's true. Article 243(c) provide the same power to the state legislation with respect to the municipalities. So as far as Constitution is concerned, yes, reservation can be provided to the OBCs in the local self-government. But it is the Supreme Court which says that following criteria of triple test should be followed before providing the reservation, so that reservation should not be politically motivated or should not be part of the vote banks of the government. Now, why Supreme Court has to say this? There was a case which was filed by the K. Krishnamurthy against the Union of India, and according to the petitioner, Article 243 and its provisions are against the caste and gender. They actually promote the discriminatory nature against the caste and the gender. Why? Because these articles actually provide special provisions to the backward classes, which is not seen in the other areas. Secondly, according to the petitioner, Karnataka is a state which has provided reservation beyond 50%. For instance, for OBCs, they are providing it 33%, women also 33%, and scheduled caste and scheduled tribe at 15 and 3%. So why should governments at different states go for different kind of provision? Why can't there should be a one yardstick to measure the entire provisions across the state? So this was a petition filed by K. Krishnamurthy, against which the Supreme Court has given the order. Now we come to what Supreme Court has to say. Now this is extremely important for the candidates. Please do go through these multiple times, as you can quote these statements given by the Supreme Court, these arguments forwarded by the Supreme Court in various answers. The first one is that reservation in India under Article 243 and Article 15 and 16 are different. Article 15 and 16 provides for the socio-economic backwardness of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and others. On the other hand, Article 243 provides for backwardness in terms of political participation. So they should be treated differently. Then comes the reservation in the local self-government will benefit the society overall. So when the reservation is provided, it is not only to the OBCs, it will benefit the entire society. And according to Supreme Court, creamy layer should not be excluded from the reservation of the OBC because this is not for the government jobs, it is for the political participation. So creamy layer should not remain a matter of concern or the exclusion criteria for the OBCs. The next suggestion was that horizontal reservation to be excluded while deciding the ceiling of 50% reservation. However, as far as vertical reservation is concerned, it should not breach the 50% criteria. Article 243D and 243T are constitutionally valid, which simply means that yes, OBC can be provided reservation under the constitution and states have equal power to do the same in this regard. Whatever reservation is being provided by the respective state, whether Maharashtra, Karnataka or Madhya Pradesh, should be based on the empirical finding and not the vote bank politics. And lastly, reservation provided even to the chairperson with respect to the backward classes is also constitutionally valid. So all these are the forwarded statements of the Supreme Court with respect to the reservation. So what Supreme Court promotes and what it denies becomes a part of this discussion. With this discussion placed, let us now move to the next article for the day. This article of the Hindu newspaper appeared on page 5th and is going to be discussed with respect to the prelim examination. The Ranganathittu bird sanctuary now reopens for the public. It is located in the Sri Rangapatnam area of Karnataka. It was declared as a sanctuary way back in 1940, that is before the independence, on the behest of famous ornithologist Salim Ali. It is named after the Sri Ranganatha Swami, that is one of the reincarnation of Lord Vishnu considered in the particular area. It is paradise for bird watcher as well as a natural lover because of the reason that there are numerous migratory birds that appears in this area from Siberia and Africa annually. And apart from that, it is popularly known by the term Pakshi Kashi. Kashi is the word which is used as a metaphor to show that it is like a bird pilgrimage. It is the first time when a wetland in the Karnataka is getting designated as the Ramsar site. So this area will also be part of the Ramsar site. The location of the area is on the banks of the river Kaveri. So this was the basic factual information that could be asked in the prelim examination. So as far as map work is concerned, so as you can see, this is the area in Karnataka, that is South Karnataka, where this bird sanctuary is situated. And in this map, we have provided the bird sanctuary and the various marine parks across India. As you can see from this map, the marine parks in the central part and the eastern part of India is least. However, there are very high in terms of the coastal states as well as the states in the northern India. With this discussion placed, let us now move to the last article for the day. This article of the Hindu newspaper appeared on page 1st and talks about the reversal of an order and an action taken by the Supreme Court previously. In a significant development in the Indian football, the Supreme Court has terminated the mandate of Committee of Administrators, which was actually constituted by the court itself to manage the affairs of All India Football Federation. Now, why this was happened? Previously, on August 3, Supreme Court has ordered the holding of AIFF election under the aegis of Committee of Administrator and giving 36 eminent players the voting rights in this organization. However, FIFA, that is the Federation Internationale de Football Association, FIFA was not in favor of providing the administrative rights of a sports body to a central or a union court. Hence, FIFA had suspended the AIFF on 15th of August with immediate effect over the violation of its provisions. However, FIFA has cited that undue influence from the third party, and here the third party was the Supreme Court itself, which was acting as an external mediator or the body in controlling the sports affair in football. And according to FIFA, this undue influence was the basis for the suspension of the order. The suspension actually led to the cancelling of Under 17 Women World Cup, which was scheduled to be held in India in football field. Now, FIFA has made it clear that it wanted an elected body and not a court-appointed entity like Committee of Administrator to manage the federation's affair. Now, what Supreme Court has done? After the threat of getting the world event cancelled, the Supreme Court has taken the action to remove the third party interference which was created under the Committee of Administrator, and the court has now transferred the day-to-day management to the federation itself from the hands of Committee of Administrator. And court has also extended the election program by another 1 week. And because of this, now it is likely that FIFA will reinstate India's candidature to conduct the Under 17 Women World Cup this year. Now, From the perspective of UPSC prelim examination, as we have seen in prelims 2021, there were 3 questions which were asked with respect to the sports field. That was actually not conventional in UPSC's nature. So, given this trend, let us understand some of the prelims factual knowledge with respect to the football. Now, India has already hosted Under 17 Men's World Cup in football in 2017. In 2022, FIFA World Cup is going to be scheduled in Qatar. And it is going to be the first World Cup ever in the Arab world and second in Asia. The first Asian hosts were South Korea and Japan in 2002 when Brazil became the winner. In last World Cup, that is 2018, France won the FIFA World Cup by defeating the Croatia in finals, and this was the second World Cup victory of France after 1998. With this discussion in place, now we come to the last part of today's Daily News Simplified, that is question of the day. The answer to yesterday's question of the day was that right to privacy is a fundamental right in India. The question for today is the triple test formula which has been in news lately can be associated with. You have 4 options. Try to read the correct one and do comment in the comment box. That's all for today's Daily News Simplified. Thank you.